Good evening, Your Fitness First community. Hope you're all okay today. Tonight I have got a live workshop. This one's on a self-development journey. So basically I'm going to start with a nice little poem which really made me reflect on where I'd been on my self-development journey and made me look back, and I was hoping, you know what, it might help some people to find their path and to see that they can move forward and change their life the way I did. But it's really is a poem about self-development, growth and enlightenment along your journey of change. You know what I mean? When we begin to change. So the poem is called There's a Hole in the Sidewalk. So there's 5 parts to this poem. So I'll just read it through and then I'm going to evaluate each part and just tell you a little bit about it. And I'm going to finish with some coaching questions at the end that you can take away and do something with. So you're not just listening to the workshop, you're actually getting something from it. You can write down a few questions and you can work through them in your own time. So the poem is There's a Hole in the Sidewalk. So I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am hopeless. It is my fault. It takes forever to find my way out. I walk down the same street. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes me a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it's there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It's my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I walk down another street. So that is the poem. It's really, if you think about it and listen to it properly, it's you can get it online. It's called A Hole in the Sidewalk. It's a really good evaluation of somebody's stages of, like I say, personal development. So it starts off, chapter 1 is I walk down the street. And there's a deep hole in the sidewalk and I fall in. I'm lost. I am hopeless. So this is the stage where we go on, before we go on our personal development journey. We see everything around us, but we keep doing the same old thing. It's not our fault. We just do what we do. We're in a habit. We're going through cycles. We're just living our life without even thinking about it. And then the next stage is like I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. So you're starting to notice this hole that you keep falling in, but you go in it again. You can't believe it and it's still not your fault. So we continue to do the same thing, even though we're becoming aware of them. And it's still our fault. It still isn't our fault, sorry. It's everybody else's fault but mine. So you could blame society. You could blame what's going on in the world. You could blame your family. You could blame your friends. You could blame life. You could blame work. You could blame everything. But you're not looking in the mirror and going, it could be what I'm doing. It could be my fault. But there's the early stages still. Then you start your path of self-development. But you don't want to see your problems. So this is the next stage. Paragraph 3, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it's there. I still fall in. It's a habit. So we've recognised that it's a habit. We know that we're doing the wrong things. And then you take acknowledgement for it. So it's my fault. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing something wrong. And I get out of it immediately. So you know it's your fault. These habits, you're becoming more aware of them. And you start to take responsibility for your actions. and you get out straight away. You know what you're doing, you get out of the situation, whatever it may be, your habit you've got that's causing you to stay where you are, you get out of it. And you've been through it before, and you're going to start working through your issues. You notice what you're doing, and you're going to work through them. And that's the point. It's about noticing, being aware of things, and then trying to move through them. So the 5th part is I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk, and I walk around it. So this time, we still need to work on our personal development. We're still going down that same road. We're still following the same paths that we did before. But we're more aware of everything. We're more aware of our flaws. We're aware of our problems. So we decide to walk around them. And then we continue to learn and educate ourselves on how to develop ourselves. And that's when we can change. We start to change and see ourselves as a new person and see the changes happening because we've missed the hole. We've walked round the hole. And then the last bit is I walk down another street. And this is when you've completely changed as a person and you're on a new path. You're on the path to self-development. And this is where I looked at this and I thought, yeah, this is so where the journey I've been on through my self-development, and it'll so resonate with other people for whatever journey you're going on, whether it's mental health, other journeys into stress, anxieties, everything. It will really resonate with everything there. So if you really evaluate this, it will help you move forward with your life. And like I say, you walk down the same one of the streets, so you've completely changed as a person. You're not making the same mistakes. You're taking responsibility for your actions, and you've made changes to your life that will make your life better. I did that. I became aware when I was first starting this. I used to go to Tesco. I used to work late in a different job. And every time I come home, I'd be talking to myself about going and getting a bottle of wine on the way home. So you finish at 10 o'clock, you'd be like, I'm going home. And I was like, I could get a bottle of wine just to help me sleep, to help me switch off. And I used to do it every late sleep. And it would just turn into a habit. Every late, sorry. So when I came home, I'd have a bottle of red came 2 bottles of red wine a week. And then one at weekend, and it was just a habit that you got to get out of. And more and more I became aware of it and the cycle. Then I stopped taking my wallet to work and changed the cycle, so I couldn't pay for things and stuff, and changing little habits so these things didn't work. But you've got to be aware of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and evaluate that and look back on it. So now I've got a few questions. So if you've got a pen and paper, there's a few questions here that you can ask yourself. And then you can write down. Again, you can look at the poem. It's online. There's a hole in the sidewalk. It's a fantastic, enlightening poem. But these questions really help you grow and find out where you're going wrong and what you can do to get out of that. So don't just watch this and think, right, that's it. That's another thing I've just watched and I learned a little bit, but I can't really take anything from it. Get a pen and paper. Write these down. Honestly, they are so important, so valuable. I've done this and it worked wonders for me. So question 1. It's a nice simple one. What are your 3 main goals? So what are your 3 main goals that you want to achieve over this next year? Let's say one short term, one medium term, one long term goal. What are they? And how are you going to go about it? So question 2 is, what do you need to do to hit those goals? So what sort of things would you need to do for your life in order to hit the goal? So would you need to eat healthfully, start working out? Would you need a personal trainer or a coach? Would you need to get rid of some old habits? Look at it and evaluate. Write it down. Write everything down of what you need to do. Then question 3 is, what do I need to stop doing to hit my goals? So this is what you need to stop doing to walk around the hole in the sidewalk. So what do you need to stop doing to change those habits, to break those habits that are keeping you stuck where you are. So you need to start to walk around that hole. You've noticed it now. You notice what you're doing. You've realised these habits, and then you can walk around the hole. Number 4, how do I normally get in my own way? So what obstacles do you put in your own way? Situations that come up that might stop you. So you can plan then to how you get past it. If you know what comes up in your own way, you can look back, you can evaluate, you can reflect on what comes up and causes you to step back into the old habits. You know, you can reevaluate it and you can plan. You can plan around it. So you keep walking around it, that path. And we keep walking down the same path, but we notice it and we can walk around it now. We're not falling in the hole, we're not falling in the habits, we're not falling into a trap of being our old selves. We're changing and being a new person that we want to be. Question 5. What can I do to make sure that I don't do it? So what can you do to make sure that you don't fall in the hole? Again, could you get somebody who's accountable to? Could you get a buddy to help you? Could you get a coach, personal trainer? Somebody who you think might be able to help you stay accountable to building new habits. And then question 6 is the final question, is what do I need to do to stay consistent? And this is key, this one. I said it in many of my lives, that it takes between 30 to 60, well, to 100 days to break a habit and build a new one. So let's say around 60 days to build new habits. And what would it take? What would you need to do to build that habit consistently for 60 days? So there's the 6 questions. You've heard the poem. Again, you can get this poem online. It's called There's a Hole in the Sidewalk. It's easy accessible. Have a read of it. Evaluate each stage that you're going through. See if you're walking down the same street. See if you're walking around the hole, or you're falling in the hole every time. Or have you walked down a different street now? Are you on a different path? You know what I mean? It's entirely, it's your life. You've got to put it to how you're doing. I've told you a little bit about my habits. You've got to do it to what your life suits and what would really help you move forward. But this is again, this is a really good workshop for your personal growth, for moving forward, for developing yourself and figuring out where you're going wrong and what your habits are that you need to change. And that's key to any personal development. If you want to move forward in your life, you've got to look at your old habits and what's not serving you anymore to move forward and change them. It's like I always say, nothing changes if nothing changes. So that's all I've got time for tonight. It's a nice short one, but if you, like I say, you go through it, you evaluate, get the poem online, go back, write the questions down if you want. There's only 6 questions there. It's quite quick. It'll take you about 10-15 minutes to go through it, and it'll just really will help you. It helped me on my way to where I am now, and helped me get to the stage I am now, where I've broken old habits. I've now set up new habits, and I'm moving forward in my life in every aspect. So I hope you got a lot from that. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you need any help with anything, you want a little bit of guidance on anything, let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Send me a message, whatever. Tomorrow morning, we are doing another live. So if you join me live, we're doing a live weights workout, aerobic workout. So it's going to be a 25-minute aerobic workout with some little weights, or you can use tins of beans. It's entirely up to you. So that's all I've got time for today. Have a good evening. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody. See you soon.